Hey y'all, and welcome to Monter's Market, and welcome to the Unconventional Materials Craft Challenge. This challenge is where we take things that were absolutely in no way made to do crafts with and make crafts out of them. This is hosted by the Blondie next door, and her co-host today is Alia, sorry about that, DIY Adventures. So let's go see what I did with some things that weren't made for crafting. For DIY number 1, I made my very own tier tray. Now let me show you how I did that. So I gathered up my supplies, and I am using a plate and a saucer that you can get from the Dollar Tree. Now I don't know about your Dollar Tree, but I can find these really pretty blue plates at my Dollar Tree all the time. I've seen them for the last few years, and I think they're just beautiful. Now you see me here trying to find my middle of the plate. Well, dummy me, after doing all this measuring and taping and all of that, if you look close, it's got little rings in the middle of the plate. And the tiniest ring is the middle. So I went through all of that for nothing, and my little bit would not actually go through the plate. So those bits right there I got off of Amazon, and they're specifically made for glass and ceramic and things like that. Now my little hardware set that you see there, I also got off of Amazon. And now all of this stuff will be listed in my Amazon storefront that will be linked below if you would like to have any of these. And all you need to use those drill bits is just any regular old drill. So after I decided what I wanted to use, now that, another thing too, don't let me forget, the hardware is for a 3-tier tray, but you see I only had 2 plates, so I opted to only use part of it. Now I'm using this little piece of wood on the bottom of my plate so that I don't drill through the little table that I'm working on. And I am going to tape it down for stability because it's so small. If I pick up my plate and move it, then I'm going to lose the board out from under it and possibly drill through my little work table that I'm working on right there. So anyway, I flip it over and get ready to start drilling, and the tape just would not let it go. Like, it'll go through concrete, but it won't go through tape. It was so bizarre. So I ended up peeling the tape off, and I started with the next to the last smallest bit, but that was too big. So I did go down to the smallest bit and made my pilot hole, and then went to the next bigger bit and made it taller. Now bigger. Now you will see there's a little cup of water there, and that's because those bits get really hot when you're drilling with them, and I would just dip it down in there to cool them off. But it actually only took about 2 or 3 minutes to just drill right through both of the plates, and then it was as easy as adding my hardware and being done. And now I'm excited because I'm always finding beautiful china, like at the Goodwills and things like that. I cannot wait to make some tier trays now with some beautiful old china. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about this tier tray and the fact that it wasn't made for a tier tray. Like, the materials were made to eat off of. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about this one. So what you see me doing now is adding my bottom piece of hardware to the bottom plate just to make sure it lined up good. And now I'm going back in with the top plate and drilling through. And this one went a lot faster because I knew to start with the smallest drill bit. And it literally took less than a minute and a half. And it went right through the plate. And then once I finished that, I was able to continue with the hardware and add it to it. And I'm telling you, it looks like something I would have bought in the store that was already made. I have, $1.50 for the hardware, $1.25 for each plate. So that's $2.50, $4 in this whole stinking tier tray. And I would pay $20 easy all day long anywhere. And it actually comes with these little grommets or whatever you want to call it, so that it's a really good, secure, tight fit. And I just took my drill and tightened up the bottom to make sure it was good and tight, and it was just as solid as a rock, and I love the way it turned out, and I'm super excited to hear what you think about it down in the comments below. I love that blue color, and I love the little brown around the edges, and that hardware is just so pretty to me. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this one. I would say this is probably my favorite one of the whole video that I've done. So now let's get into DIY number 2. So for DIY number 2, I'm going to craft some books. Now I know that you normally get books to read and you don't craft with them, but book stacks are a very in thing right now as far as decorations go. So as unconventional as it is to use a book to craft with, I am going to take these couple of books that I got from the Dollar Tree and this absolutely gorgeous material that I got from Walmart. Now, if you watch my lives on Monday nights, you've already seen this particular material here that I'm just obsessed with right now. But I'm just going to simply wrap it around the book and just sort of haphazardly cut it until it covers the books. Hot glue it on each book, and then I'm going to actually glue them together so they don't come apart. And then I got this before Valentine's Day, and it's just the cutest little ribbon, and I thought it would be perfect to wrap around this book stack and embellish it with. So once I wrapped that, I took some twine and these little laser cut dies right here. They had some of the cutest little different ones, and this had like a little globe on a stand, and I thought it was perfect to go with this. Then I took one of these little metal tags that you can get from the Dollar Tree and got it ready to chalk just a small tiny piece of a transfer that I have that will go absolutely perfect with this material. So before I chalked it, I got my twine and I wrapped it around, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. I didn't really count. And once I got it wrapped around, then I was ready to go in and chalk. Now this is a beautiful transfer called Bonjour. And I'm just going to put that tag right where I want to chalk at on that little, looks almost like a postage stamp. So once I get that done, I go clean my transfer real quick and put it away. And then I take these little rub-on transfers that you can get from the Dollar Tree, because at the top of those books, it was just a little bit too bare for me. And these little rub-on transfers were perfect for this material. So I rubbed on the little boot and the other little thing. And then I hot glued that little globe to the top of that metal tag, tied the little string that came with it around it, hot glued that to the book. Then I had like some random greenery that I put down, and I had like just a spare random solar wood flower, and hot glued my greenery down, added my solar wood flower on, and that was it. This DIY was done. And yet another cute, adorable, crafted item from something that was not made particularly to craft with. So I would love to know what you think about this DIY down in the comments below. What do you think about this material? Is that not beautiful? Look how perfect that was right there. That little stand and those boots. You can't even tell that it's not part of that material. And I'm just tickled to death. And it just so happened that the little stamp on that little galvanized tag nearly matched the little stamp right beside it that was part of the material. So it just kind of all came together and jived together, and I couldn't be more tickled with this. Is probably my favorite book stack I've ever done. So let me know what you think about it. And then let's get into DIY number 3. Yet another funky, unconventional thing. So this is a candlestick. You would normally put a candle in it. That's a cup. You'd normally drink out of it. And these are some little plastic bowls that you can get at the Dollar Tree. You would normally eat out of those. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all together to make one candle holder. Now I'm going to use some super glue that's sort of like a E6000 and hot glue to put these three things together. So I'm going to glue the candlestick to the bottom of the cup, and then I'm going to glue the bowl, or that whole piece to the bottom of the bowl. And once I get everything glued together, I'm going to set it aside and let that glue dry. When it dries, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint it. So the first paint I'm going to use is this Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory. And I went over it twice to paint it really, really good on the outside and then on the inside of the bowl. Once I gave it those two really good coats of the Ivory paint, then I went in with this antique wax by Waverly and sort of dry brushed it all over. And then after I got that on there, I had gotten a little bit too heavy-handed in a few places, and I didn't want to go back over it with the Ivory, so I thought it would go over it with the white. And I'm so glad I picked white, because the three colors together just really blended well, and it just gave it a whole different look. Like, as they say, it added depth and dimension to the whole thing, and I love the way it sort of antiqued it. And that was my goal, was to make it look sort of old and Victorian-ish. So once I got it painted to my liking and it dried, I took some of that same ribbon that I used on my books, and I wrapped it around the top where the bowl and the cup come together. And then I took some twine and wrapped that a few times around. And then I took another one of those little laser cut things and tied it on there. And then I found in my little jewels, or whatever you want to call them, my little accessories, just a cute little flower that I glued on it. And I think this turned out so stinking cute for $3. Well, now it's $4.50 because of the price going up at the Dollar Tree. But look how pretty that paint job is, and look how cute that looks and how it all came together. And it's certainly unconventional, because we're talking about a candlestick and a drinking glass and a bowl. So I would love, love, love to know what you think about this down in the comments. I'm tickled to death with everything that I did today. So I'm really eager to see what you think about it down in the comments below. Here is the final reveal. And don't forget that everything is going to be listed down in my description box. The things from the Dollar Tree will be listed separately, and the things that I got from Amazon will be in my Amazon storefront. So, and that is an affiliate link. So if you click on that, then I do get a small percentage of whatever you buy. Also, I've had a lot of people ask me, do I have a coffee, what is it called? Buy me a coffee thing. And I do, but I really don't promote it because it's just kind of embarrassing to me to promote it. But since I've had so many people asking about it lately, I do have a buy me a coffee, and it is always listed down in the comments below. And if you ever feel like giving $1 or $2, I would turn it right back into crafting supplies to make things for you. So I figured since I'd had a few requests, I would mention that. But definitely let me know what you think about this whole entire unconventional materials video that I did for you today. It's been really fun getting back into making things from scratch again. For the past several weeks, with me not feeling very well, I've kind of went back over some old videos. So I'm super excited about this because it's all brand new. So thank you to the Blondie next door and to Alia's DIY Adventures for holding this Unconventional Materials Craft Challenge. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Thank you to all of my subscribers, all of my viewers. And if you're a viewer and you're not a subscriber yet, I would be tickled to death if you would subscribe and just join my family, especially if you've watched more than one or two of my videos, because now you're family anyway. So thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. There will be a playlist listed below, so make sure you go and see what everybody else has done with unconventional materials for you today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Be blessed. Bye now.